There's a bombshell report out today about Ben Carson that will definitely piss off the right-wing base. So, according to his former colleague, Dr. Jen Gunter, an OBGYN and a pain medicine physician, Ben Carson personally did research in 1992 on, quote, human choroid plexus ependema and nasal mucosa from 2 fetuses aborted in the 9th and 17th week of gestation. Come again? Say it with me, guys. Good googly moogly. Hold on. So Ben Carson is against abortion now, and he's in favor of defunding Planned Parenthood. And his colleague is calling him a hypocrite, rightly so, and she says, quote, fetal tissue has been used for a variety of purposes, including research on an Ebola vaccine, blindness, and HIV. So he's saying, I'm totally against abortion, man. It's fucked up. We should outlaw it. And she's like, hey, asshole, you did research on a 17-week aborted fetus. How ridiculous is that? How ridiculous is that? I mean, think about it. So if you think it's murder, he thinks abortion is murder. That's like, you know, somebody like you or me, for example, somebody coming into your office if you're a doctor and they say, Ted just killed somebody and we got the body. You want to do medical experiments on it? And that would be like you or me saying, yes, we would. That's not the way a normal person reacts. If you really have this moral code and you truly believe it to your core, that any abortion equals murder, then if somebody tells you, hey, we just murdered a baby, now you want to like pick it apart and do research with it? How would you react if you really believe that? Oh my God, no! But he didn't. He was doing the research. So here's just how big of a hypocrite Carson is. Let me give you one of his quotes. He said, at 17 weeks, you've got a nice little nose and little fingers and hands and the heart's beating. It can respond to environmental stimulus. How can you believe that that's just an irrelevant mass of cells? That's what they want you to believe when, in fact, it is a human being. So then why did you do research on it? Why did you do research on it? Why are you partaking in the exact thing that you think is the height of immorality? Unless, of course, you are immoral. I guess you are immoral. I guess you're admitting you're immoral by your own fucking standards, by your own code. Absolutely ridiculous. And his response to the scandal is even worse. He somehow made it worse. He said, quote, if you're killing babies and taking the tissue, that's a very different thing than taking a dead specimen and keeping a record on it. Oh my God. You really are the dumbest smart person in human history. This guy's a fucking neurosurgeon. And his clarifications are the dumbest I've ever heard. He's like, well, come on. I mean, if you kill babies and you take the tissue, it's different than if you just take a dead specimen and you work with the dead specimen and keep a record of it. What? And you just refer to it as a dead specimen. The thing that you operated on, you're like, dead specimen. I was working with a dead specimen. Oh, www.stepasidebitch.com. Look, the entire base is gonna... The only people that support Ben Carson in the first place are the ultra right-wing base. And now all of them just left for Ted Cruz. They're all like, well, I was with him because he had the minority thing going on, and we thought that might get us 3 black votes, which could help us win the presidency. But now, I mean, the whole thing with the thing and the abortion, Ted Cruz, how you doing, baby? I guarantee you that that's what's happening right now. Ben Carson is definitely in damage control mode, and there's really, I don't think there's anything that he could do to get this back. I mean, he did, according to some polls, he did decently in the debate, but I definitely think this is a setback for him. And by the way, let me just say real quick, is there really something wrong with what he did? Of course not, man. Now, I've said time and time again, I'm actually a moderate on the issue of abortion. I'm not some sort of flaming progressive on the issue of abortion. So what do I mean by that? I actually agree with the standard set up by Roe versus Wade. And I agree with the subsequent case, the fetal pain case. So what that means is I think it's totally a woman's choice 100% up until viability, so about 22 weeks or 23 weeks. And then after that, I have no problem with states doing basic regulation and saying you can't just have an abortion for any reason after 22 or 23 weeks. You can only get it if there was a rape, if the life of the mother is in danger, if there's a fetal defect and the fetus won't make it anyway, or in just, rare circumstances like that, incest. So I'm a moderate on this issue, so I see that there's nothing wrong with it. But the bottom line is, he says there is something wrong with it, so he's absolutely a hypocrite. But keep in mind, man, just so everybody knows for clarity here, the nervous system is not developed in the fetus until about 22 or 23 weeks. So this idea that, that what's happening with abortion before that line, the idea that it's somehow equivalent to murder, the idea that you're somehow like Nazi Germany if you do that. No, what's actually happening, as was explained by Ben Carson's colleague here, is, we're curing diseases for, human beings that are actually here on the earth that exist. So everybody, I just want everybody to keep that in perspective here because that's very important in this discussion about abortion. But either way, the hypocrisy from Ben Carson is overwhelming.